Howdy Howlers, it's Sako Toomey, also known as Cass Voigt, and today I'm going to talk about possibly taking some headshots with your iPhone. So generally you don't take your headshots with your iPhone. That is generally not a thing that you do. However, we are going to use a couple of photography tricks to kind of fool people into thinking that maybe it was taken with a DSLR. So let's start with natural light. So for one, we definitely want to use natural light. Currently my lighting is pretty good. It's very sunny out, but I'm standing in the shade. I'm gonna pop out real quick into the sun and you can see what happens when I'm standing out in the sunlight. So this is what happens when you stand out in the sunlight on a bright and sunny day. You're gonna squint into the sun. There's gonna be harsh shadows. You see those shadows that are happening there. You don't want to be in the sunlight. So what this does is it diffuses the light. If you are indoors, what I recommend doing is being near a big window. You are inside, the light is automatically diffused. However, you can diffuse it further with sheer white curtains that'll soften the light and have more of an even see, you notice I don't have any harsh shadows happening. It'll be fine. Whatever you do, don't use the flash. Strongly recommend you never use the flash on your phone. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Now I would show you, but I am technically on my phone. I'm filming with my phone, right? So there are two lenses on a smartphone, unless you're using an iPhone 11 crazy time thing that has the three lenses on the back and all that craziness. But I'm using an 8, so I am just gonna talk about I'm using an 8. The one that I am using right now is technically the weaker of the two. I'm not getting all of the megapixels and all of the prettiness and all of that jazz. So instead you want to flip it and use the lens that is on the opposite side. Which means if you can get someone to take the picture for you, that would be best. But you can set it up and set the timer option and then, walk away and have it take your picture. Next up is your background. Now, granted, normally I wouldn't be in front of my house, in front of my door for my headshot. That's not a thing I'm gonna do. If anything, do I have a nice place? I don't have a nice place. I guess that would work. That could be okay. But what we're doing is we're paying attention to our background. We don't want stuff in our background. For instance, a couple years ago, we did an in bulk photo shoot in the snow. It was mostly headshots and product shots, what would be considered B-roll for photography. Someone left their black backpack in the snow in the background. So we have this big black spot right here on all my headshots. So I basically had to go in post and clone stamp that shit out. Thank goodness for Photoshop, am I right? On a similar note, now you notice when I stand against this brown background, my shoulders are kind of getting lost, right? So what we're gonna do is create some contrast. So we have the light background, we can see my shoulders with the black hoodie, right? Or vice versa. If you have a black background and you need to pop out, you want to wear a light colored shirt. I don't recommend wearing prints. I don't recommend wearing patterns and crazy colors and stuff like that, unless that's a look you're going for some reason. But you probably want to wear neutrals. That's probably a good idea. So let's go inside, since my neighbors are doing stuff and making noise and fluttering about. So Okay, so I am inside. I'm in front of my back door, and I have, check this out, these white sheer curtains. And this is exactly where I shot my headshots, right? Now, in general, you know, I'm not really big on, like, I would probably edit out that chair. Maybe I could use the shrine, I don't know. But then I have shadows. We don't want shadows in our headshot. So we went straight on, none of this, or this, or this, or this. We went straight on. So regarding the posture is we want to put our shoulders back, our neck long, our chin 90 degrees. We want to straighten our spine like we're sitting up against a wall. We're not arching our back, we're not curving over, we're just standing straight. Our feet are under our hips. And you can kind of lift your chest if you want, but again, we're not arching our back. We're just kind of lifting our rib cage just a little bit. Now, if you have a DSLR, I strongly recommend picking up a nifty 50. It's a little 50mm prime lens. That guy will carry you a long way, especially for portraiture. Okay, so the next step would be retouching. You cannot use just the stock photo that came out of your phone. You actually need to bring it into a photo retouching program like Photoshop or Lightroom or GIMP or something, and tweak it a little bit. And I'm gonna tell you the things that you should probably watch out for. One, you want to stretch the detail. You're gonna make your darks darker and your lights lighter, so the contrast is better. We're gonna sharpen and saturate this block right here. And then what we want to do is, you notice how crisp my background is right now? Well, what we're gonna do is mask me out, right? And then blur that background. And hard blur, so we have depth of field happening, and we want the focus to be your noggin. Last but not least, we need to talk about the file format and the dimensions of the photo in question. Now, for most social media, you're gonna need like 400 by 400 pixels version of your headshot. Also consider that this square might be converted to a circle, so you don't want to like too much artiness. You want it front and center. Think of it like a driver's license, only you can add a little more personality to it. You know, a smile, or a scowl, or whatever works for your genre, whatever works for your personality. I do have to warn you, never size up. Never take a low-res image. Now, my phone is 12 megapixels, I think. There is no reason why I should have to size that up for anything, because if I'm gonna make a poster or I'm gonna make a banner or something like that, I'm gonna shoot that professionally with a DSLR and use my photography magic on it and stuff like that. However, do not do this with your iPhone headshot. Never size it up, always size it down. Last but not least, we need to talk about dots per inch. We need to talk about pixels per inch. So we have, you might have heard this in the past, having a print version of a picture and then a web version of a picture. The web version will be at 72 to 90 dpi. That's dots per inch. That's best for screen. That way it doesn't take forever for it to load. Your print version is going to be at 300 or more dpi. That way you can cram as many of those little pixels, as many of those little dots into one finite space as possible. and that'll make a cleaner, crisper picture. So let's review. 1, consider natural lighting, don't use the flash. 2, use the back lens on your phone, not the front. 3, consider your clothing and your posture and your background. 4, if you've got a DSLR, consider getting a 50mm for depth of field, for focus in the front. Definitely worth it for portraiture, especially for headshots. And 6, we gotta talk about that retouching. And 7, we gotta talk about the dimensions and how we never size up. We never size up. I can't stress this enough. Do not size up your headshot. Don't do it. Don't do it. I do hope that this was helpful in some way. If you have taken your headshot and it has worked out for you, please tell me in the comments below. If you liked this video at any point, please hit that like button. If you want to see my future videos, like how to write your About Me page or how to make a media kit, hit that subscribe button. And if you would like to see when I go live or when a video goes up, please ring that bell. It will notify you whenever something goes up, and I will catch you guys on the flip side.